Welcome back to another episode of the Just in Time Podcast. I'm your host, Justin. First podcast of the new year. It's not going to be a long one. I'm not going to keep you long. We're just going to stop. We're starting season 2. We're going to get into a little bit of new stuff. Hope everybody had a happy new year. Reset and ready. I hope all your goals are going well. This podcast, I'm going to reintroduce myself because hopefully we've got new people. I'm going to talk about some new stuff. I'm going to try to lay down what we're going to be doing schedule wise and everything else. So, first and foremost, this year I'm going to try to get more guests on, do a little more interview type of stuff, talk to different people, hear their story, or try to at least, hear their story, learn some new stuff from some different people, hopefully. We're always going to have a sports segment because I love talking about LSU sports, college athletics. We're going to talk about that. Might throw some Super Bowl stuff in, some NFL playoffs. It's too late now. The playoffs are over, but hopefully this Wednesday I'll have Will back and we'll talk about, you know, what we thought of the college football playoffs, what we thought of the national champions, Miami versus Indiana. I think Indiana's going to put belt to ass and easily walk through that one. I just hope they put their second string in maybe to start the game so we can get a little bit of a close game. Who knows? Miami's a good team. They fought in every game they went, but Indiana has just easily walked through this game. They could have had a blindfold on and beat that. It looked that easy for them. And I wouldn't be surprised if they win it all this year. They're a good team, probably the most complete team in college football right now. That being said, coming next year, LSU's got a new head guy, new offensive staff, bunch of new faces, and Sam Levitt, Landon Clark. I think I said that's his name. He's from Elon. I think that's his name. Got the kid from where else? USC. Got a bunch of new linemen, restacked on wide receiver. Hopefully we get a bunch of offensive linemen because that was our weakest group last year. And the weakest group the previous year, although they were pretty strong, they were in running backs. We need to get our running back game going. I think Kiffin will do a good job. He's a very offensive ball. He kept Blake Baker, which will give us a defensive mindset. Our whole coaching staff is back for defense pretty much. We'll have a good defense. Hopefully we can compete. There's a lot of talk about moving the playoffs to a 16-team playoff from a 12-team playoff. Who said the Big Ten was useless? They came up with a pretty nice 2014 playoff. I like that. But probably the main focus from the third podcast, probably the second podcast, to be honest, probably the one coming Wednesday or Thursday that's going to drop. We'll record it Wednesday and it'll drop Thursday. Will be probably a little bit about college football, majority college baseball, and LSU, preview the LSU season, talk about new stuff, new different stuff every week. Maybe throw in a little pickleball stuff, tell stories until the season starts, But that's where we're at. Like I said, I'm hopefully going to be able to get different guests on to talk about different things, talk about how they do things. And everybody's at a different mindset. You can learn from everybody you talk to. Hopefully my goal is to get a bunch of different people on, tell a bunch of different stories, learn a bunch of new things. The goal for 2026 for this podcast is to at least put out 42 quality episodes. It's going to be the start of season 2. Season 2, we're going to do some new things, talk about different stuff. Like I said, I would love to get different guests on, talk about whose backgrounds are in different things. It doesn't have to be sports. I want to learn new things from anybody who would love to come on the show, and tell me. We talk about stuff, talk about experiences. It doesn't have to be anything profound. It could just be, somebody in a different field. I'm a teacher. Could be somebody in a different field. Just anything. But we'll always talk about sports at some point. I'll always bring up sports. Maybe I'll do it'll be a 30-minute interview and then followed by another 15 to 30 minutes, talk about LSU baseball. They have a lot of games, a lot of different things will happen. I think they have a good team. It's just, I heard somebody say, the difference between this team and the 24 team after they won is I think they think they figured it out. They'll figure it out faster how to work as a team and everything. And that was the main thing holding them back. They have the talent. Some people say it's the most talented team Jay Johnson's had since he's been in Baton Rouge. We'll see. You know, hopefully they can come together and play as a team. That'll be something to look for, but we won't talk about too much of that right now. I just wanted to do, and then I'm going to do hopefully we'll get new people. I'm going to do a quick reintroduction. My name is Justin. I'm from South Louisiana between New Orleans and Baton Rouge. Um, it's been a wild ride as a LSU Louisiana sports fan in general, but as you can see from all the stuff behind me, I'm a huge LSU baseball fan. Grew up going to the games, just love it. Been watching it, probably missed a handful of games from earlier in the early 2010s and early 2000s that weren't televised. But since every game has been on some streaming service or some way or another, I've pretty much seen every game that they have played since 2015, maybe before that. They LSU had a streaming service, and it's the one that they show, those views that they show when you go to the concession stands and stuff on their TV. They had on their TVs, they had a streaming service back in early 2012, 2013 that showed that. So I subscribed to that and watched the baseball games, you know. So I don't think I've missed a game, or I've tried not to miss a game, even if it's listening to it on the radio. Lived through, don't remember much of it because I was born in '93, so I lived through a lot of the golden era of LSU baseball and Skip Bertman. Definitely lived through Smoke Laval, watched those games, all of Pulmonary, seen all of Pulmonary's games, and definitely has watched almost every game that Jay Johnson has coached at LSU. Not almost every game he's coached at LSU. You know, season ticket holder for football. A lot of new exciting things coming up. I go to gymnastics meets. I don't know much about gymnastics, but I think it's amazing what they do. I could never do that. I would probably die if I did that. It's just a lot of flipping and precise control of your body. And I mean, we're going to talk about a lot of stuff on this thing, but I will say this, baseball players, football players, basketball players, they're amazing, but I think real athletes are the gymnasts because I know for a fact there aren't too many people that can come off the football field or a basketball court or a baseball field and do what those gymnasts do all the time and not get hurt. I mean, let's be honest, anybody can go do a flip, but this is the way they land it and make it look gracefully and not hurt themselves. But yeah, so this year, the goals for this podcast is to grow subscribers and listeners and everything like that. YouTube, same deal. Grow the Instagram and the TikTok, Facebook page. I have a Twitter. I hardly tweet anything on it, but I have that. But one big thing that I am going to try to push and ask everybody to join this year is I started a school page to just have a community base back in late November, early December. I haven't pushed it because I was still trying to figure it out. Honestly, I'm still trying to figure it out, but I would love for everyone to join me over there on school and just a place to drop your thoughts. You have a comment about something we could talk about or a question, you know, that we can try our best to answer. Drop it on school. I'll put the link in the description for everything, you know, but school is gonna be a big part of how I would like to run this podcast going forward. It's basically a way for me to reach out to you guys and hear what you guys have to say, answer questions if possible, basically, a way to interact with y'all. Facebook and Instagram and TikTok, not that big on as far as supporters go, but I'll answer questions over there, YouTube's too, trying to get the YouTube to grow, trying to get the podcast to grow on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, whichever one you listen to is fine. Just want to grow. I appreciate all your support, but, like I said, we'll talk a lot of baseball coming up from probably February to hopefully the end of June, beginning of July. We'll have a lot to talk about baseball wise. Start of the season is February 13th, and I'll pull up the schedule. The College World Series, last day of possible the College World Series would be June 22nd. So, like I said, hopefully from February 13th to June 22nd, we'll have a lot to talk about. Now, I will be heading to Jacksonville to watch them play Indiana, Notre Dame, and UCF. So hopefully I can get a bunch to talk about from them. That's always a fun trip. I went to Frisco last year and saw how I stayed at the team hotel and I got to stay at the team hotel and see how the players interacted with each other and talk to some of them, meet some of them. It was a good time, good way to see what we've got and how they interact with each other. And it was a great thing to see. Hopefully be able to do that again. That was fun. Going forward, what I plan to do is hopefully be able to record an episode every Wednesday. Yeah, I'm hoping to record an episode every Wednesday. And sorry, what I'm trying to say is hopefully I'll record an episode every Wednesday, drop it that night or that Thursday. And hopefully, we'll have a consistent scheduling base with different stuff like YouTube shorts, YouTube videos from baseball. Like I said, I'm hoping to do start pickleball against real soon. So I'll hopefully have some stuff on YouTube for that, and then we could talk about pickleball too in podcast. 'Cause pickleball is fun. Hopefully I'll get something where I can take some, footage from that and get some stuff going just to have different stuff. I'm a teacher. I know it gets boring to sit here and listen to somebody for extended period of time. So hopefully I could throw in some more entertaining stuff. Some clips from baseball games, hopefully, that I go to. Some different stuff. Just try to make this. I will say this, okay? Everything I say in sports, I am not an expert on. I'm just a fan who has opinions. And one way or another, I'm going to find a way to voice my opinion. So I thought, why not do a podcast, But I'm also looking to make this something more than just sports, like talking to different people, having different people on as guests. Will's always going to be one of the, you know, mainstays on here. Good friend of mine. I'm also looking to have other people on, hear different stories, learn new stuff. That's what life's about. Life's about is learning as much as you can, talking to different people, getting different people's outlooks on different situations. That's what makes life fun. And that's what I'm looking to do here. I'm looking to just have fun, maybe not maybe, hopefully put out some really good content for you guys. You know, that's the main goal. I always want you guys to be happy. Like I said, any suggestions on what we can do? I do have a desk coming in tomorrow. So today is Saturday, the 17th. As of time of recording, tomorrow will be Sunday. I have a desk coming in on Sunday. I try to make it a new setup. We'll have some fun with it. We always have fun, but we always have fun. I'll try to leave y'all with a different quote every episode from every week. So just an encouraging quote or, something to help, not help, but you know what I mean? Something to give encouragement or, and we'll do a segment. Hopefully at some point we can do a question and answer segment where if we get, I'll post some stuff on either Instagram or TikTok and y'all can put it in the comments, or we can do something on school. Like I said, I'm gonna be pushing big for school this year. It's a great community-based thing. Everything I've looked at for it is I like what I see, so I've got the community made. I'll post the link in the description of this YouTube video. I'll post it in the description for the podcast release on Spotify and Apple. It'll just be a good time. We're going to have a good time. 2026 is going to be a great year. And we're going to talk about a lot of things. We're going to talk sports. We're going to have different people on and talk to different people. That's always the goal. I want to talk to as many people as I can, learn as many new things as I can, meet as many people as I can, hear as many different aspects of life, not necessarily walks, but hear about other people's journeys, learn stuff from people. I probably said learns new stuff about 1,000 times this podcast, but, want to get out there, want to meet new people, learn new things, talk to new people, but also I'm going to talk sports. Sports is always going to be a mainstay. Baseball will be a long time this year. We got a lot to talk about. I've checked the schedule. There's only one Wednesday game, I think. Again, I'll check the schedule. Before I do that, let me write something down. All right, let's look at this schedule. Bear with me, I'm coming. And of course, let's do it this way then. Okay. Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, one Wednesday. Yeah, so we have one Wednesday game. That's an away game. So hopefully I can put out a podcast. I'll record that day. I'm trying to record every Wednesday and drop a new episode every Wednesday or Thursday. That'll be the scheduling, that'll be, the new schedule. It'll be every Wednesday. Try to drop something every Wednesday. Definitely record every Wednesday. Hopefully drop something on Wednesday night or Thursday. Be on a consistent schedule base. Get y'all what y'all really want and, make this as fun for me. I want this to be fun for me. I enjoy doing this, and I want you guys to have fun listening and would love to hear y'all feedback and just, we're going to have fun with it. We're going to do it. And I think I've babbled on long enough for this one. I'll leave you with this. Remember to give yourself the credit you deserve. You've been doing well. Everybody's been doing well. Let's keep it that way. As always, have a great day, a great night, or whatever you have. Make it a great one. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe on YouTube, and like and subscribe to Spotify, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. And like I said, I have a Twitter page. Hardly ever tweet, but please like and subscribe that. Everybody have a good night and a great 2026. Hope y'all year's off to a great start. Have a good day, good night, or whatever you have, make it a great one.